Hello, and welcome to another episode of Franklin and Douglas, where we talk about current events and give you bad advice. I'm Franklin, and with me, as always, is my buddy Douglas. Double D, how's it going?
It's going great, buddy. It's you know what? Life is great.
I am so glad to hear that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, life is pretty great out here as well. The
Ugh.
sun is shining. It's not raining because I know you hate it when I tell you it's raining, but it's not raining. The sun is shining, and the birds are chirping. So yeah, it's going pretty good. And I did my first full week of meal prepping and
Nice.
eating healthy, no alcohol, and I'm feeling just
I know. Well, you started sending me pictures, and I let me just tell you, to the people listening, Franklin here can take some Instagram worthy pictures of oatmeal. I mean, I was sold. I was getting ready to order a bowl from her.
Okay, I'll send it to you, yeah. So, no, yeah, I did make some overnight oats
Mm.
and, in my mason jars. I felt so Martha Stewart. So I got all that together. I had my meal preps and everything, and been going working out. I started working out at my complex first, the complex gym,
Hmm.
to give the people at the gym time to wean off. Didn't you say it was like the 17th
Yeah, the 17th. Then you can
is the
go
quit
after
day?
that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go after the 17th. I
Right.
go hit up the gym, get into the pool. I contacted the gym and asked them when they clean the pool so that I can be there when it happens. And so,
When did they
yeah,
clean it? Did they tell you?
yes, they clean it, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Oh.
So, I'm like, "Okay, cool, what time?" So, I won't have to be in there when old Joe comes rolling in.
Mm,
So,
mm,
yeah,
mm, mm.
um, yeah, I'm getting that together, and I'm feeling pretty good. I've gotten my steps in, and trying to, like, obviously live healthy and doing everything. So yeah, you have been a good support. We've been going back
Aw.
and forth talking about how important this is. So yeah, otherwise it's been pretty good. We're still what we're in the second week now of 2025.
Yeah, the second full week
Yeah,
as
and
of
now
recording.
is like LA is burning. Did you see
Yes.
that?
Oh, so
So,
sad.
yeah. Yeah, it is. It's been a horrible start to the year, but, LA has, been engulfed in fires. I believe it's still going on right now,
Mhm.
and I'm pretty sure we have the Santa Ana winds will be kicking up and bringing some of that, fire and ash again up to Northern California.
Right.
So, yeah, prayers to everyone out there that is dealing with all of that. It's just, that's something that is really bad, and obviously, Uncle Trump is blaming, Gavin for it.
Yeah.
I tell you one thing, my boy can come up with some good nicknames for people. He calls him Gavin Newscum.
I can't.
He cracks me up. Swear, where does he get this mess from?
Does he think we need to start raking the forest again like last time?
Exactly. Yeah, so what people
Mm,
don't understand is that he's the one that cut the funding for our
right.
fires and stuff like that, so at
Mhm.
any rate, either way, we are getting close to his inauguration, and he will not be serving time, clearly. Did you see that as well?
Yes, yeah. It is what it
But
is. I don't wanna talk
it is
about
what
it.
it is. So, all right, well, why don't we go ahead and get into what you want to talk about today?
Sure. And thanks for asking. My week was going great as well.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about you.
No, it's okay. So, but moving on. Uh, so what I wanted to talk about this week is I was flipping through social media as one does, and I
Mhm.
saw this curly-haired alien-looking guy giving us a message from Meta. Turns out it was Mark Zuckerberg. If you haven't
Well,
seen the
yeah.
video
He's
yet,
got a nice little afro now,
yes,
little
he's in his Gen
yeah.
Z era with his little
Mhm.
curly do going on now.
Yes, he's a cutie.
But your boy Mark Zuckerberg, or Zuck as we fondly refer to him as, announced on Tuesday the 7th that they're going to stop working with third party fact checking organizations on Meta.
Stop working or start?
Stop working with third party fact checking organizations. So,
Okay,
yeah.
what does that mean?
Well, so we're going to find out. He went on to say after Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote nonstop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. But the fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US.
Okay. So now, is he gonna let us do a free for all? We can say and do what we wanna do now? I don't
Well,
have to get stuck in Facebook jail
I,
for 30
well,
days?
I feel like that's the way we're going to be going. But if you remember back in 2016, they were accused of being a large platform of spreading false claims from Russia interference regarding the election. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember, but we both watched, there was that documentary that came back out around then called The Social Dilemma that had
Right.
interviews with former tech employees to discuss social media algorithms and spreading like political misinformation,
Mhm.
like how that was a
True.
big thing. And then
Yeah.
along came 2020, where we went into the pandemic. And in 2021, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube had banned Trump after the January 6th attacks. Yeah. So there's become like this outcry from conservatives and Republican probes actually against the moderation programs that were in place, calling it censorship. So basically, there
Since
was like these third nonprofit parties that they were
Mhm.
going to back then that were kind of like fact checking misinformation because you had a lot going around back then. Like I said, like from Russia interference and everything, and it was kind of like a free for all. Like, you know, Grandma Betty was believing, that Hillary Clinton was doing child sex trafficking in the basement of a pizza shop.
Jesus.
So yeah,
I Yeah, I mean, it it's very interesting, that's always come up, about the Russian interference, and I'm like, "Okay, so" you know me, I'm ignorant to that. So how are they what, are they changing the ballots or they got the secret boxes and everything?
well,
I mean, I
the
know how
yeah.
they do it on TV, but how do they do it in real life? Is that real life?
Well, I think the
This
social media aspect was that there's so much misinformation that's going on Facebook, and a lot of people like take what they see in social media as the news, as what's really going on, as
I
law.
mean, if it's not coming from the TikTok, it's not real news.
Right. So instead of like going out and making sure, like people are just like, okay, and they were going with all this misinformation. That's how they were claiming was, election interference because it's kind of swaying people's
Mm.
opinions into
Oh,
voting one
okay,
way
okay,
instead of
okay,
the
okay.
other.
Got you, okay. So what was the claim for this one? I mean, you know,
Oh, well.
because
So, yeah, we'll get into that actually. You're gonna love it.
because Kamala was at a dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce. Dance party with Beyonce.
So, Zuckerberg went on to talk about the moderation, saying that Meta has made too many mistakes in how it applied its content policies. He said and pointed to Trump's election to a second term as a cultural tipping point towards once again prioritizing free speech. So it's no surprise, though, as Meta has poured $1 million into Trump's inaugural fund recently. And
Mm,
your boy Zuck has been to Mar-a-Lago recently for a little
of course.
visit with Trump.
Of course he has.
Maybe a little
All the
golf,
millionaires.
maybe pay his
Ugh.
respects to Ivana.
Okay. Oh my.
So,
Well, I mean,
yeah,
that's what happens. Unfortunately, we are not billionaires and zillionaires to, hobnob with those guys, and
right.
do the dance. Mm, mm.
The YMCA dance.
So
So,
yeah, I get it. I mean, that's money is power, and
mhm.
that's it, that's how he is where he is, and he's not running the country. These billionaires and zillionaires are.
Well,
Is
and I
there
think
such
too,
thing
he
as a
sees like
zillionaire?
what influence Elon has, and that was another thing. It's like, is he like, oh, I want to get in on that? you know?
Exactly. Again, it's who you know and how much money you have to contribute to it
Mhm.
and what it's going to pay out because they're still getting rich off of everything. You know,
Right.
healthcare, all of the other, their Social Security, things like that that they're trying to cut and keep for themselves.
Mhm.
So, where does the little guy come in? Where do we come in to reaping this benefits? Because my groceries and the gas is that he promised that ain't happening.
No, it's
You
not.
know,
I hope
it's
those
not
eggs were
happening.
worth it.
Speaking of which, do you guys have eggs out there?
Yeah.
It's some sort of pandemic, right? Or some
Oh,
sort of issue? Bird
the
flu
bird
again?
flu, yeah.
We don't have any eggs here. Uh,
That's insane.
there's no eggs. And then they have signs up when they do have it that you can only take one. And I'm like, "What happened to the eggs?" I didn't see that on TikTok news.
The the chickens are not. Maybe you'll see it on Facebook now that they, don't do fact checking.
You know what? Yeah, there was, something that I found interesting is that I was, meditating and reading and different things, and the guy said, "Disappear from social media for 30 days
Mhm.
and, you know, see how your life changes." I mean, get back to communicating with your friends face to face.
Mhm.
You think about it on Facebook. How many of those friends, of those hundreds of friends, do you actually really truly know, and that you've actually spent time with?
Right.
You know, I have, as of late, stopped getting up and checking my phone and going through it. I like, nope, don't do it, don't do it.
Mhm.
I get something else going, and then I'll get on. But I have tried to kind of like just slow down on it because it can be addicting.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever checked your phone and tells you your screen time on certain things on different platforms?
My phone does tell me when I use my phone less than the week before, and I feel it's like,
Right.
"You use your phone 15 minutes less than last week." I'm like, "Oh, I'll take that. I'll
Right,
take
but then
that."
there's also a
Right.
breakdown
Yeah.
where you can see what apps you've used the most,
Mhm.
and it's like when you look at it, I'm like, "How the heck did I spend, 99 hours on this, and what else did I do that day?" So, yeah, I've just, tried to kinda scale back on that, and then also the news and everything that you see nowadays is so upsetting these last couple of weeks and just so I'm trying not to I think positive
Yeah.
and like, okay, it is what it is. We can deal with it however you're going to deal with it and keep it pushing. That's all you can basically do.
But
But
you don't wanna
it,
remain I mean, this is a strong word, but you don't wanna remain ignorant to what's going on in the world either, you know?
I mean,
Like,
ignorant,
there's one thing, like, keeping your peace and not know what's going on, but there's another, like,
right?
you know.
Yeah, no, of course. But it's like, yes, let's learn about the things that we need to learn about. Don't
Mhm.
close your eyes to it. But I also want to learn about not tainted truth.
Yeah.
And again, social media can do that.
Oh, yeah.
You see all these things. I think it was, last week I was told you I got down the rabbit hole of, you know, all these things that were coming up and how to prepare yourselves. I mean, I was packing away Spam and water and all
Yeah.
types of emergency kits and first aid because
Right.
I was like, "Oh my god, something's really gonna happen,"
Right.
And then I was like, "Get out of your head. Stop all of that." Still have the spam, it is what it is, you know? So oh, and then to top it off, it's still on the subject of social media and
Mm.
everything crazy. The other night, there was an explosion right behind my house here in PG&E. Everything just went off,
Mm.
completely did, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the purge. It's about to start." And I barricaded my door, and it was so crazy. It was like a flash of light. The lights came back on, then they went
Mhm.
off, and it was just this big boom, right? And I looked out the window, it was pitch black. And I'm like, "Yep, here it is, the purge." Bum. So, yeah,
It's just the
I was
aliens finally coming making contact.
exactly. And so I freaked out for just like a quick second, then I was like, like, then I got my text messages from PG&E. We have an outage in your area. I was like, no, duh. But I thought about it. I was like, yeah, they're coming. Here they come right now. They're coming to get us.
Oh my
But
goodness.
yeah, it's you have to like just get out of it and get the real news and get the real information. Hopefully you can try to get the real information.
Well, it's going to get harder and
You
harder. So
It is.
to jump back, when we were talking about, like why, what have you, and
Mhm.
now his new interactions with Trump. So a Meta, he actually added Dana White, who's the CEO of UFC fighting, and
Dana White.
yeah, he's now on the
Dana.
board of Meta. Dana White's a big
Mm.
Trump supporter.
Okay,
They
yeah.
also
Yeah, he
brought
spoke
on,
at his, what is it? What did they have? The Republican National Convention. He spoke there, yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
they also added Joel Kaplan, who is also MAGA, and he is now the head of Meta's global policy. So he's just, bringing everybody on, getting cozy. So Trump has also in the past threatened Zuckerberg with life in prison after accusing Meta of election interference themselves.
Mhm.
And when Trump was actually because after Zuckerberg made this announcement, they asked Trump if he felt like his threat had helped create this outcome. And Trump said, probably.
See, I mean, what is that?
So, and then to add on top of all that, Meta is being sued by the FTC and the attorney generals of 48 different states for an antitrust case, which so happens to be starting this April, which is under our new president's term. So they're
Mm.
also thinking if he gets and gets cozy, maybe he can get this whole antitrust thing dropped from the FTC.
Oh, so he's gonna do a little rubby, rubby, snubby, snubby.
Right. So
Mm.
now you may be asking yourself, well, what's replacing fact checking now? so, so what Mark wants to do is take a page out of Elon's book with how Twitter is doing the shift, or what they already did, to community notes.
It's X, by the way.
We've already gone down this road. It's Twitter. So, so this is where, if you don't know what community notes are, this is where the users write and rate notes that appear next to specific posts. So,
Mhm.
so I mean, the issue that I see with this is that you have people with biases on both sides of the spectrum try to push their own narratives, left or right, on a post instead of an independent contractor. So if you have a site that starts skewing one way politically or ideologically, I don't have faith that there's going to be any like real fact checking going on.
That was a lot of big words for me, so
So let's say, let's say X or Twitter, like it's going to be mainly all right wing. So if you
mhm.
have someone spreading misinformation that makes, a great like right wing speaking point, but it's not true, a lot of people are going to be like, hey, this is something I like to hear. I'm going to say it's true. Kind of thing.
Oh.
Instead of saying like someone that's in the middle, be like, well, no, factually, this is what's really going on, kind of thing.
Oh, so
Instead, they're all saying, oh,
their
no, this.
comments
Hmm?
their comments get pushed to the side, or, the comments of the people that believe it keep going up further and further?
So there's a voting system as well that states like, oh, I forget what the wording was, like, is this helpful kind of thing. And
Oh, okay.
more people are going to tend to believe, like, if they say sky is purple because Trump says it's purple, and everyone's like, well, Trump said it, so yeah, I believe it.
Yeah, because
I,
purple is beautiful.
well, what is it? I think God gets mad if you walk by the color purple and don't
Mhm.
don't appreciate it or something.
I think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field and don't notice it.
Yeah, something like that, and then, of course, the purple rain, so
Hmm. So, and then Meta also said that it's going to be dialing back on how their systems block or ban posts to just those of illegal and high severity violations, which include terrorism, child sexual exploitation, and fraud. Which, yeah, they should ban, but they're also moving the content moderation team from California to Texas, where Zuckerberg feels that there's less concern about the team's biases. So really, Texas?
Texas.
There's no bias in
Texas.
Texas?
Texas.
I
Okay.
can't. Yeah. So he also stated in the post, we're going to simplify our content policies and get rid of a bunch of restrictions on topics like immigration and gender that are just out of touch with the mainstream discourse.
Okay.
I so I mean I going through my head, like the thing that I worry about is first of all the ramifications of social media giant like these swaying to the favor of whomever's in charge or in power politically. So, he goes one way when Biden's in office. Now he's going another way when Trump's in office. Like, I mean, if you look at
He's
go ahead.
yeah, he's bisocial.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you look at Twitter now, it's full of like hate speech, racism, anti Semitism. Like, I've tried to report actual anti Semitic threats on X or Twitter, and I always get like the response back, like, oh, this doesn't violate our terms. Like, what?
Here's the thing is that it's free speech. That's that's where we are. People you think that people are one way and they've always been this way
Hmm.
and they have just been able now to be free about what they want to say because there is no ramifications for it. Yeah, the cancel culture, on certain things, for stars and different things
Hmm.
like that. But for the regular Joe out there in the street, okay, so he loses his job. He just gonna go get another one. Okay. It's not, this is what people who they are, and
Right.
it's not you can't be shocked about it. Yeah, sometimes it is like, "Wow, did he just say that?"
Yeah.
But, I mean, honestly, I guess as a person of color, I'm not shocked about any of it.
Right.
I'm not shocked that, they're allowing it on, social media and the things that people get real comfortable behind computers,
Hmm.
and they can say and do what they wanna do and think that they can't be touched. And, but yeah, it's not shocking. It's not shocking at all. This is America is a racist country, and they've always been a racist country. And unfortunately, this is where we are. This is what we do. I mean, I I'm very lucky to have not had it, blatantly in my face, but
Hmm.
certain things you can tell it's
Hmm.
because of race. But yeah, I'm not shocked by all that is said and done,
Right.
you know?
I mean, I'm not like I know those people are out there. Like, I'm not
Right.
shocked that someone said it. I'm kind of shocked as a business. Like, you're just like, yeah, whatever. Let them say anti-Semitic. Let them say homophobic
Right.
stuff. Like,
Right.
I don't know. Like, I guess from a business standpoint, like, do you not think of kind of like your advertisers in that? But he's got enough fanboys that buy Twitter blue or X blue or purple or whatever he calls it. So,
Exactly, and that's what I'm saying is that money when you have money, you don't it doesn't matter. You can do
mhm,
what you want, and he is getting money from every source, and he can do what he wants to do. Um, but again, that's what happens when you're in that life. That's who you are, and you surround yourself with those type of people.
right.
And again, yeah, Trump is the president, but who's really running the country? You know,
Elon Musk.
that's that's the word on the street.
But,
Daddy Musk.
right. So and the other thing that I look at too is now with more elderly people who do not know how to navigate information on the internet are using these platforms. And again, like I said earlier, it was like, hey, this is law. This is the truth that, you know, Betty Smith on Facebook posted. I mean, and to bring it back up again, there was that Pizzagate from 2016 where people were saying that the Clintons and Democrats were doing child sex trafficking rings in the basement of a pizza parlor. It actually ended up with some guy from North Carolina traveling to the pizza parlor in DC and fired a rifle to break the door, the storage room door in that pizza parlor. And the staff of that pizza parlor was also receiving death threats. You even have just as recently with the Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, where
Mm,
they were starting to get
they
bomb
cats and the
threats.
dogs.
Yeah. they're starting to get bomb threats because of a post that started on Facebook. Like, this is the kind of stuff that worries me.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people that are celebrating this move by Meta, but I just feel like we're going to have a repeat of 2016 all over again.
Yeah, and so that again, it's like, what do you do? Do you, you remove yourself from these platforms?
Hmm.
And, just it's hard. It is like a drug, but at the end of the day, what can you do? Yeah, well, if you don't like it, don't get on it,
Right.
basically. You know what people say. And so it's a choice that if you see in too much hate or whatnot, obviously you can block those people and make sure you're not able to see that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you, and that's you may just have to get off of that kind of stuff
Yeah,
for your health and well being. So we'll see.
true that.
True that indeed.
And then
All
I just
right.
want to quickly discuss upon, since we're on the topic of Meta, um, Meta recently was, I don't know if it was caught, but they have rolled out AI generated accounts that that are supposed to act like actual human users. So there's complaints regarding these AI bot profiles that Meta put out that they were kind of sloppy imagery. The bots would tend to go off the rails when having conversations with the humans, and also lying. So these are kind of like bots. Like I said, they look like normal profiles that you can talk to and interact with. Um, but so there was one that they discussed. Her name was Liv, and she described her, and you'll love this. She'll describe herself as a proud black queer mama of two and a truth teller. So when they started, when you look at the profile, like she had pictures of her kids at the beach and everything. This is totally made up profile that you can chat with. And when they were like asking this bot, like, who created you? They had no black creators, first off. The bot
Of
said that
course.
they were, what's that?
I said, of course.
Right. So the bot said they were built by 10 white men, one white woman, and one Asian male. So when you push these bots for details, like there was another one that was like he was a grandfather, and he kind of had the same response when they asked like who created you. But as these reporters kept pushing and pushing, finally the bots started admitting like, well, that's not true. I'm just saying this to because we want to convey diversity.
Mm.
And then when they asked the bot why it lied, the bot said, well, I took a shortcut with the truth. Right. So
Skynet has awoken.
yeah. So a Meta, when people started complaining about this online, pulled these bot profiles. But a spokesperson from Meta said, or Meta, whatever, said that these aren't something new. This wasn't a rollout for something new, but is kind of like showing where they're at with this. So again, this kind of to piggyback off of the last article or the last thing I talked about was you've got people who can't navigate and know the difference. And what's to say like we don't have these AI profiles being made to again sway people's opinions,
Mm.
to convince them to buy certain products or what have you, or to vote a certain way. Like it's very concerning to me.
Well, it's concerning to me as well because I still don't know if you're a bot or not as well.
I am
So
sloppy looking, so that's that good.
that's yeah, that's crazy. And you gotta yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's social media is crazy. I mean, you sent me something about the other day about this robot, this human robot, and the
Oh
guy,
yeah,
you know, I'm like, that is creepy. Can you imagine?
right.
So
And
yeah,
those
this
robots they're training them to recognize your face. They're training them to recognize
mm,
objects, so it knows who it's talking to in that. I mean,
right.
what was it in terms of Skynet? Is that what it was?
It is. Skynet has awoken.
Right.
That's
Ugh.
great. Well, okay. Well, that's some very interesting and news there. I look forward to the next 4 years,
Me too.
and maybe more. Who
Right.
knows?
Oh, don't say that.
Hey, you never know. So
All right. Well, how about if we move on to some advice now?
please, and let's do that.
And our advice is not AI generated. So 100% Douglas and Franklin.
That is true.
So, as always, we want to remind our audience that we are not trained professionals and our advice
Nope,
should not be taken seriously. But what
never.
qualifications do we have, Franklin?
Well, we survived the Castros 2 for one night,
Yep.
and we survived getting kidnapped by that man in the van.
Hmm.
So if we can survive that, we can lead you through life's challenges. Hit me with it.
So, today we're pulling our questions from Reddit's advice and Am I the Asshole categories. If
You
you'd
are.
like, always, if you'd like for us to answer your requests for advice, please DM us on our socials or comment. Maybe your question will appear on our next episode.
Slide into that DM.
So, we're this one is from the Am I the Asshole category, and they go on to ask, Am I the asshole for not wanting to sleep in the same bed as my gay friend? They go
Mm,
on to say, and so this may come off sounding weird because it looks like English is not their native or first language. So I've had to ad lib a little bit here. But
gotcha.
they go on to say, My friend Dylan and I have known each other since we were little, and we have always been very close. We were almost raised as brothers. They they say they came to sleep at my place, etc. So they slept over each other's houses, kind of thing. When we were
Okay.
16 years old, Dylan confessed to me that he was gay. I didn't take it badly or anything. To be honest, it's not my problem. But I still need some time to adapt because it was
It's
quite
about to be
weird,
your problem.
right? to right to see him with guys. A year later,
Okay.
I noticed quite strange behavior in him. He had become much too tactile with me. He tried to flirt. He called me affectionate nicknames. I didn't.
Honey, baby, sweetie.
I very tactile. I love that word.
Mm.
I distanced myself and a little, and I think he understood because he stopped since then. However, one day I heard him talk about adult things with one of our friends. They were talking about me. He told him a whole bunch of things that he would like to make me all as disgusting as each other. So I think he's saying like he told the other guy things that he wanted to do to the person.
Yes. Whipped
Nasty
cream,
things.
Nutella.
So since that day, I'm no longer comfortable with him at all. We are still friends, but we're no longer as close as before. With our group, we're going to spend the week with a friend. We were distributing the rooms and they put me with Dylan. I asked the friend who Dylan talked about me to talk to me in private, but he refused and is pissed off because he said it's toxic on my part. So I think he was trying to convince this guy that Dylan talked to,
To
uh,
switch rooms?
right. So I
Okay.
explained to him why I didn't want to sleep with Dylan, and he became embarrassed, but insisted that this is not going to do it and that I should be ashamed. So basically, the friend is like, You're overreacting. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay.
So he
Okay.
wants to know if he's the asshole in this situation.
Yeah, you're the asshole. Give Dylan some booty. Ain't nothing wrong. Y'all friends. You've been friends for a long time. Who knows? You might like it. No, I don't think so. I think he is what is it? He's uncomfortable with his sexuality
Hmm.
and it makes him nervous. I always find that when people are all nervous and jittery, that's because they've been thinking about it.
And you're uncovering that side of them. They don't like it.
Exactly, and they just had that glimmer of, "Oh my god, what could happen?" So, yeah, he's all nervous, and then he heard what the voice said he wanted to do with him.
Hmm.
Oh, that's dirty. So, yeah, he was probably like, "Oh, crap. This is when it's gonna happen here in the cabin. Oh." So, yeah, he just needs to just go ahead and take a swig of vodka and let it happen. Just
Because,
give
well,
in to your fears.
and if you don't want like to come after you anymore, just be a bad lay. Just be bad in
Yeah,
bed. And you'll be like, oh,
exactly.
what was I thinking?
Ugh, what was I thinking? Just lay there.
Like a board.
Yes, 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 that's good. Okay.
Oh baby, oh baby.
Oh, baby, oh, baby, oh, baby. You're the best, you're the day. So,
uh,
yeah, no, go ahead and let Dylan taste a little. Taste the rainbow.
I mean, I don't know if you already spoke to Dylan once, like and you guys are still like friends, whatever, then
He's still friends with him, so
right.
apparently it's not that big of a problem.
If it's a big
You
problem, then
just
you should probably break off the friendship because
exactly, and keep it pushing. Don't talk to me like, "Look, I'm just not comfortable with it. I know how you feel about me, and so I don't want to be involved in it.
right,
And unfortunately, our friendship will have to end."
right.
And he'd be like, "All right, cool." But
Mm.
you know, you still wanna be his boo. You still wanna be, "Oh, hey, y'all wanna go bowling? You wanna go to the bar? You wanna go drinking?" So, yeah, he's an asshole.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So this is another "Am I the asshole?" And they are asked. So they title their question, "Am I the asshole for telling my wife that I'm not paying for her spiritual healer anymore because it feels like a scam?" They go on to say, this is a 37-year-old male and their wife is a 34-year-old female. The wife has been seeing a spiritual healer for the past 6 months. It started
Okay.
after she went through a tough time at work and wanted to explore non traditional therapy. At first, I was supportive. If it helps her feel better, who am I to judge? But over time, the sessions have gotten weird. The healer charges $250 an hour to align her energy, and she's been booking 2 to 3 sessions a week. Sh-
She getting more than she getting more than that energy aligned. Yes. Okay, go.
she's she's also been buying expensive crystals, oils, and vibrational sound baths
Yes. Yes.
that this person insists are necessary for her quote unquote journey.
Yes. The journey is half the battle. Uh,
He goes on to say, "I've quietly spent over $12,000 on this. And
what?
when I finally said something, my wife called me unsupportive and said I was dismissing her mental health. I told her I'm happy to support therapy or counseling, but this feels like a scam to me. Now she's upset, saying I don't value her happiness and that I'm being controlling. She even accused me of putting a price tag on her well being. Am I the asshole for saying enough is enough?"
I say he goes to the session with her and get his spiritual healing going as well. The journey.
2 for 1 deal.
$12,000? $12,000?
Over 6 months, $12,000. Over that's what, $2,000 a month? Yeah.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, he needs to put his foot down because the journey that she's taking,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he might wanna go to one of those sessions and figure out what's going on. But, it's
Is the
nothing
vibrational sound bath, is that like in a tub of oil?
it's something. It's vibrating something. And the crystals, where are the crystals going? So, yeah, he needs to figure all that out. And I mean, sometimes there are good therapies like that where they take you on that journey, but
Right.
not for $250 an hour. If it ain't covered by the insurance, I'm not going
Right. Right.
to. So, yeah, he might want to go ahead and figure out what's going on because in another 6 months, she's going to be leaving him
She's gonna
for
become a
her.
guru herself.
Exactly, for her healer or whatever that person is. It's a cult, I tell you, a cult.
Uh, it's just, and like you said, I do think that there is good people out there that do these things and it does help people. But
Mhm.
again, it's
You gotta muddle through the mess to get to them though, you know,
right. And
which is what
$12,000 in 6 months, like,
yeah,
bruh,
that's a mess right there.
I will take
Yeah,
you up to the store, buy you a couple crystals, buy you a vibrator and a bath
exactly,
so you can have your vibrator baths.
okay, and just sit there and talk in your ear. So now we're gonna go ahead and yeah, no, you need to cut that loose, cut her loose too.
Yeah. Well, I think eventually another 6 months, like you said, she will be cut loose.
She'll be gone, so that's too bad.
Mm.
Wow. Well, yeah, these 2 were not assholes. You guys are right there on it.
All right. Well, that's all that I had for us today.
Okay, well, good stuff. Thank you so very much as always. And, what do you always say?
Well, I always say, stop getting scammed. Betty, stop falling for
Betty.
Facebook scams, Betty. But but what I always say is thank you again for listening, liking, subscribing. We really do appreciate it. Again, we're going to try to do bigger and newer things this year, so stick around and find out what those are when Franklin opens up her foot site. But,
Pandora's box.
yeah. But
All
thank you,
right.
and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.